as I think about it, there's actually been a few moments where you just are, we get overwhelmed, right, by
Yes.
worried about him.
Are you thinking toward the future and all of that? That's hard to think about with him, I think. We noticed in the first few days of Cameron's life that he wasn't opening his eyes. He'd maybe open one and squint, but both eyes weren't open for, I'd say, a solid week. I don't know if that was atypical, if that was a sign of things to come.
So at about 6 months is when we started to notice that, I think we noticed both his eyes and his movements weren't there. He wasn't, I think, rolling over, sitting up. His head was,
Right.
Didn't have a lot of strength in his neck. So I think it was at about that point where we started to see the differences, really.
You never think it's going to happen to you. I mean, especially because you had a child that, you know, was perfectly capable in every way. You never think that that's going to happen.
Well, and then, so we actually received services through Vision Forward just in the home for how long?
Gosh, 7 months until maybe he was just 2.
Up until he was probably 2 was really primarily Army crawling.
Yes.
It was probably not until he was 2 that he started to actually do a normal crawl, which is about the same time he came here.
I think that first call is often so hard. I think parents think about if they really want to make that call. Are they going to be able to be the kind of parent they feel their child is going to need? Is their child going to be accepted in the community? What's going to happen with all of this?
So some of the families that come to Vision Forward initially are kind of feeling like they don't know where to go, or this wasn't maybe what they had intended for their child or thought of for their child. And those same parents end up being the very parents, like yourselves, that end up being advocates for other families.
It's a miracle to watch their growth and development and their progress. And it puts in perspective the joy that life can bring when you watch a child laugh, smile, interact with other kids and their parents. And that is a very, very rewarding job to be at every day.
Well, there's been points where we get overwhelmed by thinking about the future and what he's dealing with, but more often we get reminded of how blessed we are because he's doing something new. He's climbing on something he shouldn't be climbing on, or, you know, just today, right?
Yeah.
So for as often as we are reminded about the challenges that are in store, we have far more reasons to be blessed by his progress, and he's motivated, and the gifts we've received at Vision Forward. And so to see Cameron play with his friends or ride his tricycle or do things like a typical kid, you know, I think that's the greatest testament to Vision Forward and what they've done for him. I also look forward to him coming back to Vision Forward and working with kids, right? Because he can say, I was here,
Yeah.
right? And,
Right.
you know, just him walking in the building is going to be enough, right? And have him mentor, like we're trying to be involved and give back. I'm certain Cameron's going to want to give back, right?
Cameron is a smart, healthy, loving boy. And he's got a great group of cheerleaders behind him, and
we can't really imagine where we'd be today if we hadn't been in the miracle hands of Vision Forward. Seeing what Cameron has accomplished at Vision Forward has really given us a new hope for his future.
Our staff love the kids that they work with.
Investing in our kids is investing in our community.
Thank you, Vision Forward.
Thank you, Vision Forward.
Your Vision Forward.